Now it's afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. This is a happy day for all of us. In fact, it is a momentous day as we come from both chambers to celebrate the passage of the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act, passed in both houses with very strong bipartisan majorities. I'm honored to be here with two of the authors of the bill, to welcome back to the House side, Senator Mazie Hirono, author of the bill on the Senate side, and Grace Meng on the House side. Thank you for your leadership and the beautiful debate that you brought to all of it. We're joined by Congresswoman Judy Chu, who's the chair of KPAC, ensuring that AAPI voices are heard in every step of the way. Chair of the Committee of Jurisdiction, Jerry Nadler, when he spoke on the floor yesterday, I said he really told what he's been all about in Congress for so many years with the fairness that this legislation brings. And over again, from the Senate side, Senator Blumenthal, who's been very, very important in the Jabara Hayer No Hate Act, which is very, very essential to the effectiveness of this legislation, to be able to document, record, understand the extent so that we can snuff it out. And on our side, Representative Don Beyer, who has been a champion on this issue, and I want to recognize him for his leadership in that regard. As a person who represents I'm very blessed in my district to have a very large AAPI population, and they are very diverse, as the population is in our country, and very important in every way, culturally, entrepreneurially, community-wise in San Francisco, and I feel some special responsibility to them because they sent me here and they make our community great. And I have learned from them over the years many things. They, for example, were the first to tell us about how we can do better in naturalization. We always learned entrepreneurship. We always learned education-wise so much from that community. Sadly, we are now hearing from them about the high rate of hate crimes against the AAPI community. Nearly 6,600 incidences of anti-AAPI attacks in all 50 states have been reported over the last year. Businesses vandalized, seniors attacked, families in fear. This epidemic is a challenge to the conscience of our country. That is why Congress responded swiftly and effectively with the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act. It strengthens our defenses against anti-AAPI violence. It makes it quicker and easier to prevent, report, and combat hate crimes. And we look forward to seeing this bipartisan legislation signed into law tomorrow. I guess, is it a Thursday? Thursday? Yeah, well, that is tomorrow, Thursday, so that we can live with safety and dignity and pride. In my community, we have, shall we say, a wide range of generations, and among them, some older people who are not completely familiar with some of the vernacular that some of these thugs might use. So that's why what you're doing, Senator Blumenthal and Don Beyer, with the Jabara Hayer piece of this, so that we have a better record, because they do this violence and they say things that may not be clearly understood to the victim. So I keep saying to everybody, anybody standing around, write it down, write it down, write it down, so that we can fully document that this is a hate crime. It clearly is, but again, we can't depend on the person who is the victim and experience that trauma right then and there, being able to record what is happening there. This is in a tradition of fighting hate crimes in the Congress of the United States. Some years ago, we passed the hate crimes legislation that was sprang from the Matthew Shepard incident in Laramie County, and the sheriff came and visited us during that debate. The parents of of Matthew Shepard did, and the sheriff had great wisdom to convey to us. He said you should know people like me because I had my doubts about all of this, and then I saw it happen. So we want to remove all doubt in anyone's mind about how this is happening, how intense it is, and how much we can do about it. Remembering this beautiful community built our transcontinental railroad, never got full credit for the masterful work that was done there, fought in our war in World War II to protect our country while family members were encamped and were in camps, and that was an injustice, but it did not deter the patriotism of the people there. And now this AAPI and violence against AAPI. So again, we have something to correct in our system. Again, it's a challenge to the conscience. And again, it passed the Senate overwhelmingly, and I want to salute the distinguished leader of the United States Senate, the majority leader of the United States Senate, champion on this issue in his state of New York, in our country, and in the Senate of the United States. Again, a former member of the House.
Salute.
Majority Leader
Salute
Chuck
my
Schumer.
superior officer.
Welcome. Thank you.
Okay. And let me take this off. It says Niagara Falls. Everywhere I go, they give me a mask. Okay, first, I want to thank our great speaker, Speaker Pelosi, for not only having this signing ceremony, but working so hard on this issue and getting it through the House in such an overwhelming vote. But of course, my colleague in New York, Grace Meng, has been at the core, at the heart and soul of this issue, as have Mazie Hirono and Tammy Duckworth in the Senate. So I thank all of them, and I thank my colleagues. I thank our chair of the AAPI committee. I thank Senator Blumenthal, who's been very involved in all issues of this kind of justice, and my dear friend since the year 1976, when we were assemblymen together in the New York State Assembly, Mr. Gerald with a J. Nadler. Okay. Senator Warnock couldn't be here and Senator Duckworth couldn't be here, but they're very much here in spirit. Okay. Look, we all know that discrimination against Asian Americans is not a new phenomena in our history. Sadly, it's been around for all too long. But the pandemic brought old biases and prejudices back to the foreground. And I do have to say, so did our former president. And you put those two things together, and the amount of anti-Asian bigotry has always been in America, but it rose to the surface in a virulent and nasty way. I've had so many instances of people in New York telling me of what happened, and we've seen the slashings and the killings, but just average folks. A senior gentleman, a very nice man, one of the luminaries of Chinatown in Manhattan, told me that he was spat upon as he walked down the street. And a young woman, vibrant, said she can't go to work anymore because when she rides the subway, she gets such hostility that she doesn't want to ride anymore. This story can be repeated in every part of America thousands and thousands and thousands of times. So this isn't just a few instances. This is unfortunately everywhere. But when we crafted the bill, we wanted to send two powerful messages. First, we will pursue those who exhibit anti-Asian bigotry to the full extent of the law. We will find you out, and we will prosecute you. And our law enforcement will be newly focused and emphasize that issue. And to our Asian American friends, we stand with you. Don't think that most of America, or even a large chunk of America, is with these bigots. We love the Asian American community. It is so wonderful in Brooklyn, my home borough, in New York, and in the whole country. We stand with you. We will always stand with you. And by the way, if we get a good immigration bill, we will have more Asian Americans in America, and it will be even a better country. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leader. I'm now going to sign the enrollment of the legislation. Sign the enrollment of the legislation, which will bring it one step closer to the President's desk, and in doing so may acknowledge the leadership of President Biden. Right from the start, within 24 hours of being inaugurated president, he spoke out against AAPI violence. He directed the Department of Justice, even before it had a confirmed Attorney General, to take action. And again, he repeated that when he made his first COVID speech to the nation. He spoke in terms of AAPI violence. So he has been a champion from day one, even before being president, and when he signs the bill tomorrow. Tomorrow. When he signs the bill tomorrow.
We're trying to get the time moved back because we have a vote.
We don't know the time yet because they have a vote. But in any event, we do agree on a day, and it'll be a great day when President Biden honors his values signing this legislation. Now let us just do this. It's pretty exciting to have it there. It is. Thank you all.
Speaker Pelosi, do you have any response to Leader McConnell coming out against the January 6th commission?
I quite frankly haven't seen his statement, but we're very proud of our bipartisan bill that will come to the floor and pass today in the House.
And it will be on the Senate floor, and we'll see where our Republican friends stand. If they stand with truth, or they stand with the big lie and sweeping truth under the rug, which is so